So I got into real estate because I was in retail forever, and I kind of just kept scaling up, manager, bigger box. And then I was just an associate. I didn't even want to work there, actually. I went during a college fair, Radio Shack was just there. And a friend of mine was like, hey, Nick, come with me to this job fair. And I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm in school. So everything that's here is literally not what I would do for myself when I graduate. So I don't, it was a lot of fast food places. And like, this is for high school. I don't know why they're at the college right now, but okay, fine. Like, whatever. They're looking for upper management and HR managers, I guess, as they all, behavioral science majors. Like, oh, they think we want to be in HR, So like, whatever. And I applied and, I started doing the sales stuff, like mobile sales. I had already worked at T-Mobile before. And then when I got to Dollar Tree, I was just like, they want to pay you a lot of money, but they want to take so much of your life away from you. Retail does so much. So my buddy was like, look, I just paid for some real estate classes for you because you left your ID at my place. So I just registered you for some classes. Wow. Like, what? Yo, you're going to.
He held you down.
Yeah, my man. Yo, it's my man. Ant. Paid for the classes and everything. Like, yo, bro, you're paid up. Your books are paid for. Like, you're wasting your talents. Like, we go out and you can't hang out with us because you're doing retail shit and you're pissed all the time.
You work when everyone's got time to chill.
Yeah.
I want to go to job. I want to get drunk with Happy Paul.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that. It's exactly it. They're like, yo, you're pissed. Like you're drinking at the bar, like you're angry, you're just frowning. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm fucking tired and I know I got to be at work in 6 hours.
Yeah, you guys won't let me out here?
Yeah, you guys are not gonna let me go for like 4 hours, so I know I'm gonna be stuck here. And I landed at the first firm I worked at was cool. The school I went to was NYREI, right there by Macy's, 32nd Street. Real simple. I went into it like balls deep. So I left retail, did a bunch of traveling. I was gone for like 6 weeks after I left. Like I went to Tokyo, Hong Kong, Macau, California, like Hawaii. Like I was like, I'm out of here. Like I'm not doing retail, And then I was like looking for something to do. I wasn't sure exactly. Then real estate was it. And I did my classes. You have to do 75 hours of real estate course classes to get eligibility to take the school exam. And then once you pass that, then you can take the state exam.
Now, do you need do you need a high school diploma?
You do not need anything other than like a New York State ID. You just got to be a legal citizen for the most part.
You need a pulse.
Yeah, probably not even a citizen for the most. Actually, don't even need to be a citizen.
Can you take those tests if you're like 12 or some shit like that?
18, at least 18.
18 and alive.
Liability, right? Liability has to fall on you.
Right. On social media, you go buy some property from a fake Russian.
Yeah, I mean, you really never know. Yeah, there's a lot of that running around. So, the first place I worked at, they would basically come into the school. They would just talk about where they're from and what they're doing. And I liked the first place. I landed there. It was great. I learned a lot from a lot of really experienced agents. And then I went to Thailand on vacation, and we had 260 employees. And I came back 16 days later, and we had less than 40 employees. Wow. And yeah, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. I had no idea. Well, so the CEO used to just put everything in the company's name, and then he just stopped paying for everything. And he was just like moving money around and just doing all kind of crazy things. And I knew things were weird when I was in Thailand, and they were like, "Oh, we got a check deal for you," and it was like for $432. But I literally made that in like 30 minutes, so it wasn't bad. It was like, take this kid to the Upper East Side. If he likes the unit, have him apply. And I was like, no. They're like, it's on your way to the Bronx. Like, what could be so important that you don't want to take a break from the Bronx? And I'm like, I'm going home, right? Like, yeah, because wherever I work, they're going to give the Bronx a hard time, right? Unless it's a Yankee game, people don't have any interest in what's going on in the Bronx, right? Like, people talk about Riverdale. They never tell people that it's the Bronx. Like, oh, I'm going to Riverdale. Like, you're going to the North Bronx. Like, tell people you're going to the North Bronx. Like, I'm going to Riverdale. You shut your mouth.
Well, they're trying to build up, South Bronx,
Yeah,
water. They're trying to,
So it gets crazy. So that's more or less how I got in. And then I kind of just moved around to a couple different firms. And I just didn't really find a home. So then I went and worked for the city for a while. The bureaucracy got to me. I literally could just not deal with it. I was doing special projects, working with some of the commissioners and stuff. But
what do you do for the city?
So essentially, I was basically doing like compliance for SYP, DYCD, just like checking the CBO sites and just like checking on the students, seeing how they're doing, making sure they're actually learning.
A lot of acronyms there.
Yeah. So SYP is the Summer Youth Employment Program.
OBGYN, like
Right? You know what I'm saying? And so they get $900 million to make sure that the youth of New York City has a job.
Okay.
You know, so like you guys, Attorneys of Swag, you guys can basically write a proposal, submit it to DYCD, and then you guys can have interns in here doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, you have options.
no, but he's saying it's legal.
Just saying.
I know, but you know,
Just saying you have.
trying to keep our shit in, you know.
You know what I'm saying? You have options. I'm just saying, you don't have to be kids.
We weren't thinking about that, but that's a great
You can do 18 to 24. They don't have to be younger. I'm just saying, you have options. You know what I mean?
We'll let you guys know. Don't
Yeah, whatever. I'll put you in with a guy who knows a guy. All right. So when I decided I was going to go back to real estate, I landed at Anchor Associates, and that's where I met Gregg. And the engagement was pretty much like this. I heard him in the Bronx, and I was like, "You in the Bronx? We're in the Bronx." And he's like telling me where, and I was like, "You didn't have any issues?" And he was like, "Nah." I was like, "They think you a cop. You look like a Fed. That's what it is. You look like a federal agent."
And he's really in the Bronx going.
Right.
But the funny thing is, I go like show something, right? And I'm taking this like client around. I don't know the freaking Bronx, right? And I go back and I tell Paul, and he's like, "Dude, you were there? Like,
Portland,
you
in
were
the
like
South
walking
Bronx.
on that street. Like nobody shot you." I'm like, what?
3rd Avenue,
I seem
149th.
okay, man. What do I know?
Yeah, he's like hanging out Soundview Projects area. Like he's just not aware. I'm like,
doesn't even know.
yeah, he's like showing investors like, "Oh, this is a really good investor property." Like, yeah, they sell crack in that block. I'm sure that house is for a good price, for sure. I'm certain of that.
I don't know why it's so low.
Yeah. This is also why I work with Paul now to keep me alive. You know, make sure it's like part partner, part like bodyguard, and protector.
Yeah, I'm like, "Listen, where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going here." And I'm like, "You don't need me for that. You're going to Parkchester. You don't need me for Parkchester. You know, if you're crossing the Cross Bronx and you're going to Castle Hill, let me know. If you go past like Top Banana, like you need me. Like you're going to be too close to the projects. Like I'm going to go with you. You know, otherwise you're good. You know, Throg's next side, you're good. You're close to the P's. Like I'm going to go with you. I got you know. So that's more or less. But I love the Bronx, and the reality is it's the largest borough in New York City. It touches the most water. It has the highest elevation. And the reality is when New York City was what it was, the Bronx was where it was at. Everyone wanted to be in the Bronx. All the stores in the Bronx, Alexander's, which was the Macy's back in the day, was in the Bronx. The largest units and everything is happening. So the reality is all of those huge apartments that you would see like in Concourse Village, where a lot of the Hasidic families that came over to the States actually congregated and just kind of just made their way in the Bronx. So we have some of the largest units available in New York City and at the best price points. So Gregg working in the Bronx and all over the city, and I'm always in Chinatown. Anybody that knows me knows I get bubble tea like twice a week, every single week, even during the pandemic. I'm like, "You will open for me or you will never open again. Boba, like, don't play with me." You know what I mean?
Fucking power, boy.
Yeah, like there's there's Boba Fett, and I will throw a Boba Fit. You know what I'm saying? Like you will make sure I get my Boba. Don't play with me. You know what I mean? Like I have a thing, and it's that.